My guest today is one of Broadway's most popular stars, currently headlining his 9th show, Nice Work If You Can Get It, the Tony-winning Gershwin musical. Please welcome Mr. Matthew Broderick. Hello, sir.
Hello there.
First of all, thank you so much for being here. A big fan for a
Thank
long
you.
time, so it's an honor to have you sitting in the white chair.
My pleasure.
How's life? How's it going?
Everything's going okay.
So, Nice Work If You Can Get It. You guys are about to, it's like been a year already. You guys are going to be entering your 2nd year.
That's right.
Later this month.
Yes, it's a year since our first preview was last week, I think.
Uh-huh.
And then a week or two, we turned into a year since we opened.
I revisited the show yesterday, and it really looks like you're having a blast up there.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder about long runs and
Yeah.
sort of keeping something going that long, but there's a lot of shenanigans happening, aren't there?
Well, there are some. I mean, we do try to, all of us try to, we are always trying new things, actually.
Yeah.
So we always try to improve things. So sometimes you improve things and they get worse, too. But that show never stays the same. Like, it's always, we always wanted it to feel a little bit loose and a little bit like a party that you wanted to come to.
No, there are actually some moments, the show I saw yesterday, where the whole cast is sort of laughing.
Oh, yeah, well, that was
Did I see something happen?
Yes, you did, actually.
Well, it's actually a lot of fun.
We have 3 new cast members, and then 2 additional new cast members last night because of Judy Kay hurt her knee and various things. So that show was particularly wonky. And John Chuck's microphone at one point left the side of his shaved head,
Okay,
so
that
it was
must have been it.
like an antenna. And I'm very good. I'm not usually the one, but that was for some reason, since so much had gone wrong, and then when that sprang out afterwards, that was too much for me.
It actually adds to the fun of the show. You know, it's not, if you go see Les Miserables and they're laughing on the bear kids, it doesn't work.
And then they all get fired. I know what happens. Yeah.
So I remember when I saw it in previews, that you have that big dance number. It's wonderful. Right? It's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's marvelous. That must have been a hard thing to learn, because I definitely noticed, like, you're like a really suave dancer now. I mean,
I think I've gotten better at the
dancing.
dancing.
You're like moving up and down and all over the place.
Yeah. Thank you, I think. It was really hard to learn that, and you learn the steps, and then it seems to me to take quite a while to get where you can fill it out and really act it.
Right.
So you're not just doing the steps.
Yeah.
Just doing the steps took a long time.
Yeah.
But then to feel comfortable and be able to be the character and dancing with the girl, that took extra time.
Yeah. Now, the first time I saw you were mastering all the steps, but this time it just had a nice,
that's good to hear.
A nice grace to it. Do you feel graceful?
I feel sometimes graceful. I'm very sore.
Are you?
Yeah.
It seems like a good cardio.
It is good cardio. Producers was like that too. It was a lot of running around. And now, of course, with Jessie Mueller, I'm learning I have a new partner, so that changes everything. She's a lovely dancer too, but it's a different person. So she's always not exactly where Kelly was. So that takes all my formidable skills, my dancing skills.
You have a new leading lady, Jessie Mueller, and you haven't seen her in anything up until. I mean, she's been sort of on a rapid. She's been doing one shot for the next, but you've been busy doing this show during all of that.
Yes.
So have you seen her?
No, I really hadn't. But actually, what happened is my wife saw her in Mystery of Edwin Drood, and we were trying to figure out who would play Billy, and it was her suggestion. She just loved her. So
wow.
And then, but as soon as I mentioned that, Scott Landis and Kathleen, the director, they were like, "Oh, she's amazing."
So Sarah Jessica Parker cast Jessie.
Basically,
He gave her her first leading role on Broadway.
Yeah, that's true. And I maybe shouldn't say it, but she's actually being kicked back about, I think it's 5% a week of Jessie's salary. It's a joke, folks.
You had great chemistry with Kelly O'Hara. Was it nerve-wracking at all for you to think, oh, there's a new element being added to the show, or is that sort of exciting at this point?
Well, it's exciting in a way. I mean, it's all the new people. It probably keeps it fresh.
Yeah.
We wouldn't want to do this forever. I extended. I'm there till June, and I've never done that before. I've never gone beyond a year, so I'm in uncharted territory already.
This is the longest run you've ever done.
I think so.
Wow.
But I've done a year a few times. Right. But it gets hard to keep things fresh. Although I must say with Kelly, I always, whether it looked it or not, I always felt that felt fresh with her. She's very good at, she's just very alive on stage, Kelly. She's, you don't get into a rut. At least I didn't think so. But it's all that aside, it's good to get new people, and it's challenging. I have to, Jessie's very different, so it's like a very different person. So I'm falling in love with a very different person. So I must be different. So I'm still trying to figure out who I am now, because I'm different. I'm a different person now.
You guys have great chemistry together too, though.
Oh, good. Thank you.
How would you describe sort of Jessie's take on it?
Jessie's take on it, I don't want to box her in because she's done it 4 times, but she's like a dead-end kid a little bit, She looks like one of those Bowery boys, but the girl Bowery boy, when there's one girl. Or who's the girl in West Side Story who runs?
Oh, anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like that, though. But she's like, she's a little spitfire, a little tough little bootlegger.
Yeah.
She seems appropriate, and she's likes that period. So her singing, she does a very interesting period style of singing. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure. We're supposed to be 1926. She might be more like 1929, but she's working her way back to 26.
It doesn't matter.
Styling. Yeah.
It's not the most historically accurate piece of theater.
we gave that up a long time ago.
And you're playing Jimmy, of course, who's this rich. I don't know what is he?
He's a wealthy ne'er-do-well. Is he a ne'er-do-well?
Yeah, that
whatever
sounds
that
right.
means. He's a perpetual marrier.
Right.
I forgot what they describe him as, but he's on his 4th nuptials are approaching, and and then he runs across this Billy, and so it's a romance.
Why aren't you just a wealthy ne'er-do-well sitting in a mansion in the Hamptons? I mean, what you did the grind of Broadway. What do you think gets you excited to do this and to stick with a show this long? And
well, I always. Since I started, I actually like acting. Mm-hmm. I mean, I complain about it like everybody else, but it's really what I love to do. So I would be first of all, I don't have enough money. I know I have a lot of money, but I can't live in a mansion just by myself for the rest of my life. I have to work. But I would also just hate that. I've never been like that. I still like acting, and this show, I would never have thought it when we started, but it just sort of stayed really fun, and it got better, I think. Mm-hmm. I actually started to feel more comfortable, and I found that I could go further with it, so I never felt like I was finished exactly. I mean, I could have left now, and that would be happy too. Right. But it seemed a nice little sort of celebration to say, we made a year, and we're still viable, and let's keep going. It seemed like a nice feeling, and I hope to get somebody to take my place when I go too.
Well, maybe your wife can figure out who's going to take over.
Yeah.
She can start dream casting it.
Or Jessie's boyfriend might come up with somebody, I suppose.
This character's a great match for your personality. It almost feels like it was created for you, and I know other actors actually did it before you. Yeah. But I guess it was sort of molded around you.
A little bit. I think I'm such a good actor that it feels like it was created for me. It really was created well before me. Yeah. It's been around for in different incarnations for a little while. But certainly once we started rehearsing, Joe DiPietro, our wonderful book writer, and with Kelly too, and everybody in it, anything that didn't work, he would try something. We'd sort of. He wrote a lot of it on its feet. Mm-hmm. It sounds like he wrote it onto his foot. And then we would come up every now and then, and I never like to say. I mean, I even some of the lines even were improvisations. Very few. It's all Joe. And it was only when he said, "Oh, I like that, keep that." But so it gradually had to shape to me and to all of us. We treated it as a new musical.
You have this really great, unique comedic presence. Like you just have this thing that you do, and the way that you deliver, and just the way that you sort of live on stage, which is really charming. What do you think that is? Could you describe it? Like, do you feel like you've sort of honed this persona?
Well, no, I don't really think of it that way.
Is this what you're like?
No, I'm no more like this than I am like Leo Bloom, and I think they're very different,
Yeah.
And when I did that, everybody seemed to think that was what I was
Right.
like.
Okay. So you're just a genius.
Well, it's possible that I actually am an actor. That is possible, but I mean, I certainly am always me too.
Have your kids seen the show, and do they find you funny?
They have seen it, and they do, I think, find me funny. My girls like the scene with the wedding dress.
Right.
They like the girl things. And
because they're girls.
Yeah, and my son, he's grown. He's been to it several times, I think, and he enjoys it. He can sing a lot of the songs. He's a very good voice, but he really enjoys it, I think.
Everyone's talking about him. He wants to be an actor, right?
I'm not sure about
saying that, or
no. He's considering different options.
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
I just saw the essay you wrote for New York Magazine about growing up in New York.
Right.
There's like a whole article about growing up in New York, which is really a funny little memory.
I heard. Yeah. I called the writer and just spoke on the phone, so I haven't read the piece yet.
It was sort of all about playing in the parks of New York and getting beat up and and just sort of you had like you grew up here and you had a really sort of great childhood. Like New York was your playground, is what it sounded like.
Yeah,
it was your playground. Then you got beat up.
Yeah, I would constantly beat up, but I felt bad saying that because I love New York and I felt like I was giving it a bad.
Right.
But when I was young, kids were much more free to roam around, and as a result, they were constantly punched in the face and chest and hit with tennis rackets, and skateboards were ripped out from under their feet, and that's how it was.
It made me think about how you've chosen to raise your kids in New York, and it seems like we see the photos all the time of you walking around and your wife walking around with the kids, and it seems like they kind of do have this cool New York child. Are they able to, even with all that attention, or?
I think so. None of them go off alone yet.
Right.
The photographer thing is only like the walk to school. There's a whole group of photographers. And when my wife takes the children, those pictures you see are almost all that walk.
Okay.
So the rest of the day, when they go to the park or whatever, nobody follows them. They're
Right.
okay. Particularly if they're with their babysitter or something. Nobody seems to take pictures of them alone. I hope. That would be particularly rotten. I hope that doesn't happen.
I just always thought it was really cool how I felt like in the very beginning, you both sort of went out and said, like, we're raising our kids here, and I guess it sort of builds a relationship with photographers, right? Like, take a picture and then they leave you alone at some point? Do you feel that?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, that's somewhat. I mean, you get used to it,
Yeah.
It's really not a dangerous thing. But I would certainly prefer to wake up and not be in National Magazine.
Right.
Like, I have no desire to do a photo shoot. Even now, I prefer this was a radio interview.
Well, thank you for making exceptions.
You're welcome.
You've been taking James Wilkie to shows, right? I saw Lilla Crawford, the young star of Annie, put up a photo on Instagram. I saw of you guys backstage with her.
Yeah.
Adorable. So that's how I know. So does he like going to shows?
Yeah, we've always done that. My wife takes him a lot, but I do too. We went to Matilda, me and him, the other day. And
is he opinionated about shows?
Yes, and he very much enjoyed Matilda.
Okay, thumbs up. Thumbs up. The reviews are in.
Yes, it was a very good review. and I did too. Yeah, he's more grown up than I realize. Like he gets nuances and things in plays. He's getting very sharp.
Now, you've had this amazing career, obviously, and I know that people always sort of tell you how much they love your amazing career.
Yeah.
And you've had many sort of milestones,
Yes.
which is, actors can sort of sometimes be lucky to have one or two. You have so many great projects. Is the obvious answer Ferris Bueller? Is that what everyone sort of talks about, like at the stage door? Do you sign photos of yourself at that age? And
sometimes, yeah, a lot of that. I mostly just sign programs, but some Ferris Bueller and a few other movies too.
I love Glory.
Yeah,
Love Glory.
I don't sign much of those.
People aren't walking around with Glory photos.
No.
They should. Everybody should check out Glory.
Yeah, it is. It's a good movie.
That's a fine movie.
Very good.
Are there any movies that if you stumble on them, like on TV or something, you'll actually... Do you know the last time you watched maybe one of your movies from the 80s or...
Yeah. I don't really watch them very often. If I catch one, sometimes I'll watch for a few minutes, but then I usually will watch something else. I'm kind of not very interested in them for some reason. I am curious about it for a little while, and then I've seen it,
Right, right.
But it's funny when they've been a long time. Sometimes I'll see something and I don't remember it that well. I don't really remember that part of the story. Or sometimes I saw War Games some time ago, and I was fairly surprised by some of it. Yeah.
War Games is fun because of the technology.
I know.
The 80s
really
computers
ancient.
are pretty awesome in War Games.
Early 80s, yeah.
It's
a very good story, actually. It's a good movie, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm surprised they haven't done a redo of that.
I think there was something, and I think there's another one planned. I've heard.
Maybe that's something James Wilkie can do if he decides to go down that path.
Yes, he can play David Lightman. That was the character's name. Sorry, I'm not dressed well. I'm assuming because it's on the internet, very few people see this, but I might be wrong.
This is gonna be huge.
Oh,
this is gonna be the iconic interview of your career.
I would have worn socks that covered my entire ankle had I known.
No, it's a good look. No, it's fine.
All right.
We'll digitally add in a sock.
Thank you. How much would that cost? $10.
Torch Song Trilogy. Let's talk about that because Harvey Fierstein obviously is still around. We love Harvey Fierstein. You still see him all the time, right?
Yeah.
You were pretty young when you did that off Broadway.
Yes, that was my first job, my first paying job as an actor.
What was Harvey like then, and what was he like for you at that age? What was it like to be dealing with Harvey Fierstein?
Well, it was extraordinary. I mean, I had been auditioning for about a year, and I had a big job that fell apart. Like, I'd already had a pretty bad disappointment. But I read the play, and I thought it was really good. Mm-hmm. And then I sat with, and there was the guy who wrote it, sitting, we sat across each other at a table, and we both held the script and read a bunch of scenes. And he had that incredible voice.
Right.
I remember him as like a chubby guy. And then I look at pictures from when we did it, and I'm like, oh, he wasn't. And I read with him a few times, and then I think I read with Estelle Getty, too, that day. She was not sure she liked me, which she basically let me know. And then,
really?
Yeah. She told me, she gave me some note, because somebody else had played my part before me that she really loved, this other guy. So she was very mad that he wasn't doing it or what, I don't know what, but she told me something and I was like, you don't need to tell me how to do it. I'm just going to do what I do and whatever, something like that. And she was like, well, excuse me. And she went, and she never let me forget that. Don't tell me how to do it. Wow. But I left the room and one of the Glines or the producer, he came out and said, we want to cast you. And I'd never been cast in anything. I didn't know they'd just come out and tell you. And I was so happy. Then we did it in this teeny little theater, up an elevator on 60-something Street, and it was over 4 hours long at that point. It was much longer than the Broadway version. And at first, nobody came, too. So it was, we didn't really know what we had. And then my memory is Mel Gusso from the Times, or whoever some critic came and we got this great review, and then everybody suddenly you could feel it. It was
Right.
like the whole city went whoop.
Right.
And then we moved to a nice off-Broadway theater. And it was one of the nicest. I had this wonderful part. I just came in the third act, and everybody loved me, and I was the cute, funny guy, you know. I know not everybody loved me, but John Simon didn't love me. But
What did he say?
I don't remember.
You don't remember the quote?
No.
Oh, okay. Some actors
But
hold on to their John
I do
Simon.
think he said that Harvey Firestein's voice picked at the scabs of the existential self. But I think I may have imagined that. Harvey was such a delight to me. He's a very wonderful person. Not that we didn't have huge fights.
Oh, really?
We would fight about I was taking too long a pause at something, and or I was too the same. I'm gonna get a tape of you and play it back to you. You'll hear still the even rhythm, the same timing, all that, screaming at me, and I was young, so I would yell. And I just remember Estelle Getty, "Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!" But Estelle and I became very close too. Once she forgave me for getting the part, she was. We would sit near each other in the dressing room. We had one room, and she was absolutely adorable, you know.
You know, I was going to ask you to imitate Harvey's voice, and I thought it was beneath an actor of your stature, and you did it. So thank you. I got it out of there. I got it out of you anyway. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. He was. I love him.
I love looking at people's resumes, and like I saw something on there, and I was like, "What the hell is that? What the hell was the Pussycat and the Expert Plumber who was a man?"
I don't know what that is. I honestly don't know what that is.
Really? It was way back when you were young.
No,
but
that's not true.
That was a weird title.
I feel I would remember that.
I couldn't figure out if you were the Pussycat or the Expert Plumber.
I know what it is. I just remembered what it is. It's a radio play.
Oh.
Written by Arthur Miller.
Oh, wow. Oh, well, I should know that.
No,
Arthur
nobody
Miller.
knows it. It was performed once on radio. He
Oh,
wrote it when
okay.
he was a kid.
Oh.
And somebody unearthed it. And we did it on stage.
Oh, cool. Like
And
a
it was
live
actually
radio.
fantastic, and I was the cat.
Oh, you were?
Yeah. But it's a cat who's turned into a person, and he's a politician, and he's fooling everybody.
Oh, wow.
But then as he gets cornered and they catch on to how crooked and rotten he is, he starts to revert and starts meowing. But it was really good. It's such a good play. And I got to meet Arthur Miller, who was like, "You were great." And I was like, "Oh, thanks."
That's cool.
And he was like he was so tall, too.
Yeah. Does anyone still like dazzle you like that, or you just met everyone?
I get like that quite a bit.
Yeah.
I've met Al Pacino a few times, and still every time I see him, I'm like, I can't really talk. But if I worked with him, I would get around that. But yeah, when I meet, I don't know, I saw Clint Eastwood once at the Oscars and became lightheaded, and yeah, I'm a fan.
So Nathan Lane is also. I saw Nathan yesterday. I saw you, and then I went to see the Nance last night.
Oh wow!
So I had a
Too
Matthew
much.
Nathan day.
Yeah.
It's great that you guys are both on Broadway again now.
Yeah.
Are you guys sick of doing the inevitable? Every time you're at an event together, we have to do like a reunion photo of you two. Are you sick of being linked through theater history for the rest of time?
No, actually, he was walking on. He must have been walking toward his theater, and he walked past our stage door just a few days ago, and I was standing in front of there, and he was like, "Hi," and so we started chatting, and as we were talking, like a crowd, started to gather and with phones, and I felt like Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin for a minute, but when they were leaning out the Times Square with their thousands of fans. Right. This was about 10 people, but it was close. So we went inside so we could chat.
It'd be fun if every once in a while when you want to feel special, you just walk through like that pedestrian mall in Times Square with Nathan Lane.
I should do that once in a while. He would love that too.
He would actually love it more than you.
Oh yeah, he's definitely the shallow one. No, it's so, one of the fun things on Broadway is that people walk by, there is a little community feeling. So it was so nice that he just walked by, and I'm sure we'll be eating after the show very soon.
Yeah.
And we've managed to stay very close friends too, which is good.
Yeah.
I think I just pulled a groin muscle sitting. That's what happens when you do shows for a long time.
The chairs. Hope you can do the show tonight.
I hope so too. I also played softball today.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So, I think I need to go to the hospital.
Well, we're almost done anyway.
All right.
I do want to ask you one more thing.
Talk as fast as you can.
About that.
Yeah.
About that wife of yours. We miss her on Broadway. I mean, I know
Yeah.
she goes. You guys go to openings all the time, but we miss her. So tell her to come back, please.
Yeah, I think she will.
I know.
Sure
I know.
she will.
I know there's a play she might be doing, but
Yes.
I hope that.
MTC, I don't think I'm allowed to say. I hope I am. I'm
Well,
not sure if
yeah,
I am.
there's been talk of that.
There is? Okay.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, it's thrilling.
You guys would never do anything together. I know you did How to Succeed,
Right.
which was so cool.
Yeah.
I got to see that.
Oh.
Was it fun to actually be together on stage, or is it?
It
weird?
was fun. It
Yeah.
was both weird and fun.
Yeah.
It was really nice.
Mm-hmm. It could happen at some point again.
Sure, if there was something that was appropriate.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And you're doing a new TV show. You're doing a pilot, right?
Yes, I am.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
What excited you about this? Because I know that people come to you with projects all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So what about this one sort of, I'm curious as to what gets you excited
Yeah.
about something.
Right, right. It seemed like a good idea, like a good bones for a story, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of I have a son, a younger son, and he's beginning to date. As am I. I'm a widower.
Right.
So we're both kind of navigating dating world. And then there were other the characters around them were really funny, and people compared it a little bit to Courtship of Eddie's Father, which if you remember that show, which I
Yeah.
was actually really loved when I was a kid. So, but we'll see. You know, these things are. I don't know. We won't know till we do it.
TV's so different now.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Than it was even
know.
10 years ago. I mean, there's so many sort of rich television
I know,
shows. It's
I know.
in some ways better than movies.
I know. There's great TV.
What do you love? What TV shows do you really hook you in?
Well, this is a peculiar thing with me, is that I don't see a lot of things that everybody loves. Like,
Oh, really?
I just don't somehow. Everybody says, you haven't seen
Right.
whatever it is, you know.
Right.
I'm either watching somebody decide which house to buy, or
I watch those.
you know, or I'm watching a very old movie.
Right.
Usually.
Okay.
I don't know what that says about me demographically. Or listening to Bette Midler, you know. I don't know the point of what I'm saying.
So no Mad Men, Game of Thrones.
Oh, Mad Men I love.
Mad
I've seen
Men.
Mad Men.
Mad Men's
Game
exciting.
I haven't seen Game of Thrones.
Okay.
I love Louis C.K.
Yeah. Oh my God. I wanted to tell you, you were so great on his
Oh,
show.
thank you.
His show, Louis. You were hilarious.
Oh, thanks. I love that show. I love Portlandia.
Okay.
I think is really funny.
Oh, okay.
And I like Boardwalk Empire.
Okay. I don't know. You're not
So I know a
that-
few of them,
you got some.
and I want to learn about the one that's he's either an enemy agent or not, and everybody loves it. Homeland.
Oh,
Thank you. The robot couldn't have done that.
we have human beings
Yeah,
behind these.
running the camera. Thank you, human beings.
I-
Homeland. Everybody loves Homeland.
Yeah, it's good.
I love it too. I just haven't seen it.
Final question. You very famously last year, everyone said Ferris Bueller's turning 50.
Mm-hmm.
How is it going? How is this how are the 50s? Do you feel different?
I feel old.
Do you
or
really?
Older, I guess. I still feel good though. So I have more sore body
right,
parts
right.
a little bit, but I had that when I did the producers too.
Right.
These musicals where you just keep pounding out the same thing or hard on your body. But I'm enjoying my 50s that have just begun. I'm hanging in there.
Well, I'm glad you're hanging in there. I'm glad you're still on Broadway. Everyone needs to check
Me
out
too.
Nice Work if you can get it, if you haven't seen it, or even if you did see it, actually. Because
Come again if you like.
Come again, for Jessie Mueller's there now.
Yes.
And it's just funnier than ever.
Yeah, oh good.
And this guy is just, Fred Astaire, graceful
Well,
on
I
his
love
feet.
doing it, so I hope people come.
Well, I loved watching it.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Great to see you.
Thanks.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.